Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channels and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes to continue hustling. This episode is brought to you by Excite Medical and the DRX 9000, Peach State Payments, Recover, Chiro HD, Softwave, Cool Blue BA, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Script AI, Chiro Moguls, The Chiro Speaking Company, Pure Chiro Notes, 5-Star Forge, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, and the IFCO. You can benefit from our full list of sponsors by visiting the sponsor page at chirohustle.com/sponsors. Links in the description. Now, let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 705 of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. I'm your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Valerie Vincent. If you want to hear about how she took her business administration background into chiropractic, stay tuned for the full episode. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. Today I have Dr. Valerie Vincent coming in with me. She had the opportunity to see me speak at Cal Chiro this fall, which was pretty amazing out in Palm Desert. And I'm really thankful to be able to host her for an interview today. She's episode 705 of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. We've been at this for 7.5 years, and telling the chiropractic story is something so important to the world. So it's nice to host chiropractors, hold space for them, and allow them to tell their stories. Before we get into Dr. Val's story, though, I want to let you know our big why. Why do we do what we do over here at Chiro Hustle? Well, first things first is freedom of speech. We know what it's like to be traffic throttled. We know what it's like to be censored and shadow banned. We'd never do that to you. So anybody that's ever done an episode with us, we've always aired them because I believe everybody has a truth that they need to tell. Mm-hmm. We also believe in medical freedom and family health freedom. If you don't know where to find that, go find a chiropractor. Chiropractors are the people that are going to help you keep healthy families. And I know Dr. Val does a lot with healthy pregnancies and helping mothers have healthy births. So we're going to talk about that part of her practice. We also get philosophical at the introduction. We do believe in protecting B.J. Palmer's sacred trust. It's his last written words. If you guys want to learn more about chiropractic, go to the show notes, click on the sacred trust, and you're going to learn more about chiropractic than you did previously. I don't care if you've been practicing for 30 years, go click on the thing. And if you know a chiropractic student or anybody out there that's a new grad, please share the show with them. They need philosophy. They're taking philosophy out of the chiropractic colleges, so we need to supplement them with the chiropractic message and chiropractic philosophy. And we do support subluxation-based chiropractic. I know we shouldn't have to say that, but they're taking this out of the schools. So let's get this show shared with chiropractic students and new grads. We also believe in innate intelligence and universal intelligence. We believe that when man or woman, the physical gets adjusted, it connects them to man or woman, the spiritual. I know it's some woo-woo stuff, but that's what creates educated intelligence. And that's what this show is all about. And this is episode 705, and I'm just going to welcome Dr. Val on, and thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I did get a chance to listen to some of the other guests that you had on the podcast, and I really enjoyed those as well. So thank you for having me.
So you came into chiropractic with a background in marketing and business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I did get my degree and my bachelor's in business administration with the emphasis of marketing. And I landed that first job right out of graduation, probably within a week or two. I was planning to be married in July and got hired in May from a company that is known to sell payroll services. It's ADP, so automatic data processing for payroll. So I got hired, and it was really close to where my husband and I wanted to start our life because he was going to San Diego State. So that was my first job. And there I was with a sales job weeks before I got married. So I was doing the training kind of from home, and they knew that I would be getting married and that I'd come back and finish more training. So I was given the territory of Encinitas here in San Diego, which is a town that I have come to love, of course. And my manager that first time when she like was showing me my area, like, this is your area. You're going to sell payroll services to small businesses, but they have to be small businesses that have one employee all the way to 49 employees. You can't go to any business that has more than 49 because that's another market. Okay, got it. So there I was on the 101, foot canvassing, door to door. Hi, who does your payroll? Are you interested in changing? So I brought that message right into a chiropractic office, and it's actually the one I'm sitting in now, which is pretty cool. I walked right in and I just, hey, who's the doctor here? And I talked to the doctor who is one of my mentors, and his name is Dr. John Paul Condon. And he basically listened and liked the services I had to offer. I sold him on payroll for his small business of like 4 employees. And then he said, hey, have you heard about chiropractic before? And I said, no, I honestly had no idea. I was 23, maybe 24, like days away from being 24. And I had never heard about chiropractic in my entire life. Which is kind of my story, is that I was an athlete in high school who needed a lot of chiropractic. I was always in pain and had no resolve for any of it. So that's how my journey happened with the payroll services into selling this chiropractor. But really, I had no idea that I would be walking in the door to him selling me on chiropractic. So within about 2 weeks of me closing the deal, I was in the office getting my x-rays done of my spine, and him teaching me about my elements and how they connected, and all my symptoms had connected to my structure. And then I got my first adjustment. So that was really cool. That was a good experience.
So coming from this new graduate working in merchant services and coming in to actually sell the chiropractor on your services, he
Yep.
actually was able to help you and support you with chiropractic. What was it like when you got your first adjustment? Do you remember?
Oh gosh, I remember just even the day one visit, which I love educating patients. And I was just mind blown by him palpating me, right? Palpation, like lay me on the table. He saw my short leg, that's classic rotated pelvis. I have curvature in my back that I never knew about. And he's like, oh yeah, this is a subluxation. This nerve runs to this organ. And he explained the whole process to me from the very big beginning, and very hands-on. So I really think it's important for chiropractors to touch their patients on that first appointment. And some don't. They just think, okay, you're having pain here. They document it. They take an x-ray. They document that. Maybe do scans now. We have, these great services that give you neurothermal information about the heat. But really the fact that he was hands-on, I was already mind blown of like, okay, like I can't believe he just listened to all my symptoms and told me that that could be because of my structure and the subluxations in my spine. So from that moment, that was great. The actual first adjustment, I just remember feeling relief and like I was safe in his hands. He was an incredible adjuster, definitely my favorite. We don't work in the same office anymore. He moved to Colorado and opened another practice, but I definitely miss his adjustments. They were super just specific. He listened to kind of what you were saying, if it was, based on how much depth you needed, or if he was maybe too forceful. Like he kind of said, oh, that sense of, okay, well, get this done real quick. And he manipulated pretty quickly and gave me the best adjustment. And over time, those adjustments took my symptoms away, which I'll tell you about is the number one thing I had going on since I was a child. I'm going to say 4 years old, was headaches. So I was that kid that would just, put my head on the ground and cuddle with my mom. My head hurts. And this went on for till I was in my 20s, till the day I met him. I had suffered from headaches. I'm not kidding you. Probably 3 to 5 times a week where my head would just hurt. Well, my mom, getting her education in nursing, did everything that she knew on the allopathic side and on the medicine side, and taking me to medical doctors. I had MRIs and CAT scans. She was sure something was wrong. Like there's something in her brain. There's got to be some, tumor, something. There was nothing. There was no answers they can give us. And all that I ever left with, James, was a bottle of Motrin, 800 milligrams Motrin. And I was taking that bottle for not only headaches on a weekly basis, but as I grew to be a teenager, I had cramps. I took it for cramps. So I was on Motrin all of the time because that's the only solution I had. No other solution. just medicine. So that's how that started. But those got better. After the adjustments, my headaches were less and less. And I think 4 weeks into my adjustments, I was coming regularly about 3 times a week. My husband's like, "You're not getting your headaches anymore." I'm like, "Oh, you're right. I'm not." So what a different lifestyle it was to not have to deal with pain and just kind of missing out on your day sometimes because your head hurts so much, right? So that was life changing.
Well, I look at it from this perspective that you're talking about.
Yeah.
You saw me speak at the Cal Chiro event. I've scheduled
Yeah.
11,000 new patients for chiropractic.
It's incredible.
And when you think about the impact, um,
Yeah.
these people come to me and they talk to me, and like they don't honestly know what to do. They're just like you.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
stuck. They're stuck in a matrix, and they're stuck
Mhm.
inside of a system that doesn't get them better.
Mhm.
And they didn't know, they don't even know chiropractic is a solution for them,
Mhm.
and I get a chance to
Totally.
talk to them, and just like you, like going to see the Dr. John Paul, like
Mhm.
people tell on themselves so easily because
Mhm.
their symptoms are what they need help with.
Yeah,
They
for
just don't know
sure.
what to do for them.
For sure.
So I think
Mhm.
it's really powerful when people talk about like I had headaches and I went and saw a chiropractor and they started adjusting me and I don't
Mhm.
have headaches anymore. Like
Mhm.
and sometimes we gloss over this, like low
Mhm.
back pain, neck pain, headaches. These are like layup cases for chiropractors. Like
Mhm.
so easy for a chiropractor to do a couple adjustments and the body starts responding, starts healing,
Mhm.
and these symptoms start to go away. And before you know it, I say to people by visit 7, you might even forget why you first came in.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
say by visit 7 also, you're probably going to become our number one referral source because
That's
your life
great.
is going to improve so much
That's
that
true.
you won't shut up about what this chiropractor is going to do for you.
Mhm. It's true.
And I feel like you have to pre-frame these people and understanding like, hey, I know you don't know where to go or who to trust, but by visit 7, your symptoms are going to improve and you're going to start referring. Because
Yeah.
I do think that we have to guide people and we have to give people like the resources that they need to understand, like, look,
Mhm.
nothing up to this point's worked, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, how is it gonna really hurt you to just try this? Like, stay consistent
Mhm.
for a good month or 3 months and watch what it does.
Yeah, and
Because
that's the other part is I when I pre-frame them to come in and see the chiropractor,
Mhm.
I say, "And nothing's worked up to this point, right?" And they say, "No." And I say,
Mhm.
"Well, for once in your life, would you just take the recommendations of a doctor and follow through with what they say for you to do? And when you go see this doctor, look at what they do with the scans and the x-rays, pay attention to the second visit where they do your report of findings. They're going to tell you what they found, how much concern there is. They're going to tell you how they can help you. At that point, just follow their recommendations. Would you just do that for
Mhm.
us?"
Yeah, and you're
And
earning their trust, they
and
have to
when
be able to trust you.
when they show up, they are so excited to come in for that first 2
Mhm.
visits that they want you, the practitioner, to tell them exactly what's going
Mhm.
on. They want you to palpate them. And
Mhm.
I'm sure you even experienced this yourself when you're palpating somebody, they're like, "Ah, that's tender."
Yeah,
Like
they don't
most
even
people don't,
know.
we don't even
Mhm.
know.
Mhm. Nothing hurts, I'm good, and then they're like, "Ow, oh, that's tender, oh," or they jump,
Mhm.
right? They become little like a spasm. Mhm.
So chiropractic career adjustments help you. You start working as a chiropractor. As you've been practicing, maybe you could give some advice to a new grad or a chiropractic student on what they should consider doing and how they might want to help look at their careers.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let me go back a little bit. In 2003, I got that first adjustment. I didn't go back to school till 2011. It was a dream, and I told everybody, "I'm gonna be a chiropractor one day." And it wasn't until I was doing these other sales jobs that I'm like, "This is not in line with who I am." And that first adjustment was transformative for me, right? But I became more illuminated like every year after that and like more engrossed into the model of wellness, Like I sat down with the Dr. Laura Condon. She was the wife of Dr. JP, who I had that initial adjustment for. She did the nutrition plan with me and sat down, and we talked about like how much protein I should be eating and how am I going to have a very healthy labor and birth. And then she did home births. And so she was just like, you want to just be very natural and trust your body. You're getting adjusted 2 to 3 times a week. You're going to have a great labor. You're healthy, and just poured into me about how healthy and capable I was. And then I decided to do a natural childbirth in a birthing center, but it was still a beautiful experience of no medication and things like that. So it was just became like this relationship that we built together was incredible. And I wanted to tell you is that he poured into me so much. He invited me to go to the, this is why I want to inspire other chiropractors and even students, like don't discount all of the efforts you're putting into your patients, because you're educating them every day and you're encouraging them into a healthy lifestyle. He encouraged me, hey, come get educated about vaccines because you're going to have babies. You need to understand this. And I went to the DEAD Chiropractic Society with Billy DeMoss because that was in Newport Beach. I was pregnant. I was his patient. He drove me to the Newport Beach, meeting that was underground in his office. So that was a cool experience. Then shortly after, I went to Cal Jam. I wasn't even a chiropractor yet, but I was just so like sure that I needed to be here. So I went to Cal Jam and sat next to them and their team, and it was awesome. So that was my intro into like just chiropractic itself. But yeah, it took that long until 2011. My son was one, my second child, and then I started chiropractic school. So just back to the question was about the students, how to motivate them, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I learned that, as a chiropractor, you have to share and encourage patients to be in alignment with what is right for you. Meaning I'm passionate about being fit. I'm passionate about healthy eating. I'm passionate about pregnancy, and I just like pour into my pregnant women just like she did me. You're healthy, you're capable, like you can do this. Your body was designed to do this. So I was drawn to, learning about the Webster technique in chiropractic school because I love being pregnant. And I actually had 2 incredible births because I feel like it was because I was ingested the whole time from 5 years before I started having babies to up until the day I was pregnant, I think like I got adjusted and the next day went into labor twice. So I was ready. And so I just tell them, if you prepare your body, it's going to be good. You don't have to be fearful. You don't have to think about all of the risks, just have a plan. So I just kind of was resonating with that. So I knew for sure, like, oh, I'm learning the pregnancy technique. Heck yeah, I'm taking that class. Right. And beyond that, because I'm athletic and I'm fit, I always have random injuries from, pushing myself too hard running or working out and lifting a certain way, like, oh, I strained my rib. So I'm always leaning into chiropractic. Hey, can you fix me up real quick? Because I just tweaked myself again doing some activity. So I leaned into the sports rehab techniques because that interested me. I was so interested in just fitness and being a good athlete that I did those. So my encouragement to students is really just lean into what resonates with you. What are you passionate about? If you haven't developed your own hobbies, just start to create something that is it eating and nutrition? Is it using these different tools? Is it more about like the brain and the muscle connection? Maybe that's applied kinesiology. Just finding the techniques that feel natural and that you're just so interested in that it just becomes like second nature for you. So that would be
well, that's just it. It's science, philosophy, art. And I think that when I do the opener that we do, I really want to make sure that people walk away with understanding of what the philosophy of chiropractic is. Because I believe that's our base. And that's why it resonated with you the way that it did, because you start understanding that the body could self-regulate and self-heal. And then you're like, well, if I can do this and I benefit from it,
for sure,
that now I can deliver this to other people. And that's the cool thing about your story is it took that 8-year gap to go to become the chiropractor that you said you're going to become.
Totally.
Sometimes it takes a while for the body and the brain and the motivation to all connect.
For sure.
And that's a cool thing is it did find you as a second career.
Yeah, it is. It was the longer journey into this career, but it was meant to be. I'm like, okay, it was meant to be. Just go with it.
So,
Yeah,
so mentorship, you talked about the chiropractors that helped start your career, and then you just talked about Billy DeMoss.
totally. Yeah,
Billy's a mentor of mine too.
yeah,
Um,
he's
and I,
awesome.
and I think that a lot of people got the big idea because of Billy's
Yeah,
his brash way of communication and
yeah,
his relentless pursuit to educate everybody on chiropractic.
for sure. So much conviction. And how can it not mean something to you? How can you not believe that when there's so much conviction? Like, this is what I'm seeing. This is the truth. Believe me. You know what's crazy is that going to those Cal Jams, I was exposed to RFK. What is that? 10, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And look at where we are now. I'm so grateful. Oh, are you there? Okay, good. It was
Yep.
great
Yep.
to learn from him there, and all these speakers on teaching me about immunization versus vaccination, and I got to learn about that. So it was just so much information, great information, and conviction. You're right. He's definitely, the Cal Jam was an impactful, and those Dead Chiropractic Societies meetings were impactful. So when I think about mentorship, you're right. That was one. The Condons, the husband and wife, Dr. John Paul, Dr. Laura, they were coached by Schofield, which you talked about in your talk at the Cal Chiro. And I've been to a couple of those courses too. And so that's been a great place. Again, so much conviction and so much passion for chiropractic was a big one. But in chiropractic school, because you have to get your hours interning, I chose to be in this office, interning with Dr. John Paul Condon. But I also picked two people that had taught those classes that I was just so into sports, sports medicine kind of, or rehab. One was Jeffrey Tucker, Dr. Jeffrey Tucker. Have you ever heard of him?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he's incredible with just informing his patients, and he's a big yogi. He loves yoga and movement, and just doesn't want any resistance. So he kind of is very methodical about the subluxation versus using maybe like a laser for the patient to help them heal faster. So I learned a lot about him and just how he diagnoses everything and how he's really specific about what he's doing. There's a Dr. Brendan Murray, and I think that when you continue on with your chiropractic education, you can get your additional certifications. He did his in the sports medicine, and so I loved his education into the disc, like really knowing if it's a disc injury and how less movement is better. Because I feel like a lot of times in the chiropractic mind and in my experience was a big movement in the adjustment and a big thrust and like get the power of this adjustment to resonate with the patient and heal them. But when I went to some of these internships, the patients can be in so much pain from a disc problem that less is more. So I got to see some of these other modalities and really tuning into like, okay, the patient's already in so much pain. We need to do less and just build them up with a little bit of, I do cranial sacral technique sometimes, and just kind of hold them and to pour into them with more of a cervical adjustment and just very light adjustments on the lower back. So I learned so much from those chiropractors, and I'm so grateful that I had those internships.
You made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Excite Medical and the DRX 9000, Peach State Payments, Recover, Chiro HD, Softwave, Cool Blue BA, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Script AI, Chiro Moguls, The Chiro Speaking Company, Pure Chiro Notes, 5-Star Forge, Kytronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, and the IFCO. You can benefit from our full list of sponsors by visiting the sponsor page at chirohustle.com/sponsors. Links in the description. Now, let's hustle. Well, I think as I listen to your story more,
Yeah.
The chiropractor develops over time.
Mhm.
And from becoming the patient to
Mhm.
becoming the advocate to becoming the
Mhm.
doctor,
Yeah.
I think that it's a really cool journey. And a lot of people that your friends and your family, your
Mhm.
colleagues, your patients are going to get another snapshot of you,
Yeah.
why you love your profession as much as you do and why you became the chiropractor that you are today, which I think is really, really, really cool. Um, Now let's talk a little bit about the future of chiropractic and how you see it developing. Um, I know I ask in the questionnaire, like, where do you see the profession going in the next 20 years? But
Mm-hmm.
even with this new administration, you talked about RFK Jr. being a part of our new administration.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see the next 4 years going for chiropractic?
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be positive. And even in my community, because Encinitas is an area where people are healthy, they're passionate about their fitness, they're surfing, they're walking, they're outside all the time, hiking. People are open to the message of, wellness and things outside of medicine. And I love when I get to talk to them and I hear like, I went to the doctor and they said I need surgery, but I said, no, 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 not yet. I'm going to wait. And then they'll meet me at a street fair and be open to, chiropractic. I'm like, let's just try, just like you did. So I feel like it's broadening their mind into questioning things that have been happening that were going under the radar and they weren't asking any questions. Now they realize they could ask, and that, a lot of what they were hearing wasn't just like conspiracy. It was like really concern for our community and for our humanity of like, no, what's going on with the wellness model? It's not well, it's the sick model. So I feel positive about it. I think that if we continue doing what we're doing and getting the message out and just sharing with everybody, what did you try chiropractic? Like it's basically a second nature. I'm hoping that in the next trajectory of 4 years to 20 years, that it becomes higher up on the level for the medical world. I'm talking like Western medicine of understanding. I feel like a lot of them are now sending people to PT first before they do these other things. And so I keep on continually telling people, oh, PT is great, but chiropractic does something completely different. We're working on the structure and removing some of these areas that are not moving in alignment the right way. Therefore, the nerves aren't, able to function optimally. And if the nerves function better, then your muscles can function better, which PT is always activating. So I feel good about it. I feel like the awareness is there and we have to continue to, share. I try to just be more of an optimistic type of person. So I'm hoping that it's going to be up and rising, especially with all the people we have like you and Damas in our community sharing the message and being able to get it out more without anything being filtered on, all these avenues of social media and things like that.
Yeah, I really believe that the more that we support each other,
Mm-hmm.
like I was saying before we got going today, like we need to get the message outside the four walls of chiropractic clinics, and we need to
Mm-hmm.
get it outside the four walls of the chiropractic seminars.
Yeah.
Obviously, the people speaking from stage are really important to the transformation of the story and the message to the people in the audience. But
Yeah.
what are we going to do to get chiropractic into mainstream medical arena? And I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's a part too, is we have to realize that we have to collaborate a whole lot more and
Mm-hmm.
stop pointing fingers that they're wrong or we're right, or
Mm-hmm.
trying to be the person that's right all the time. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
once we understand that collaboration is a huge part of the future of the medical world, that
Yeah.
obviously, if they're wanting to protect the Hippocratic Oath and do no harm, they're going to look to chiropractic as the first option, because it doesn't add anything in, it doesn't take anything out. It
Yeah.
just readjusts the spinal column to take the pressure off the nervous system, allowing the body to
Mm-hmm.
heal like it's supposed to. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of saving of life and money when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
doing non-invasive first. And I
Mm-hmm.
really believe that if we can get that type of messaging on a grand scale, then chiropractors won't be the last ditch effort for people
Mm-hmm.
that have tried everything else before,
Yeah, I agree.
and then chiropractic. I really
Yeah.
believe that we'll get to the point where people will try chiropractic first,
Yeah.
and there
That's
won't
true.
be the necessity for the pills, potions, and lotions.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I had a chance to interview Les Brown a handful of years ago, and he said the reason I love chiropractic is because it doesn't cut it out, it doesn't drug it out, and it doesn't burn it out.
Oh, yeah. That's so true. That's
And
good.
he's like, chiropractors just adjust you. And
Mm-hmm.
as he said that, like coming from like this iconic figure that I really
Mm-hmm.
respected, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna forget that.
Yeah.
Because
That's amazing.
because people need to hear it from that that voice. They need to hear it from
Mhm.
influencer voices. They need to hear it
Mhm.
from RFK Jr. They need to
Yeah.
hear it from like leadership of people that are outside of chiropractic, but will
Mhm.
support the profession. And
Mhm.
I think that that's what it's really going to take for the next 20 years for us to get to this point where we're talking about this chiropractic utopia is
Yeah.
it comes from people giving honest review and
Mhm.
honest support. And I think that we've all endured and withstood this whole AMA trying to eliminate and destroy chiropractic on
Mhm.
purpose, that we're
Mhm.
still recovering from that.
Yeah.
We're still recovering from a lot of that naysayer type collective, as today we call it groupthink.
Mhm.
But I think there was a lot of groupthink trying to destroy and eliminate chiropractic, and they were in cahoots with the medical professionals. But now the medical
Mhm.
professionals are saying, you know what? We have to go and do something new because
Yeah.
what we've done up to this point, actually, we're not healthier as a nation, you know?
Mhm.
And we spend 15 times as much money as the next 15 countries behind us on the healthcare industry, and we're
Mhm.
47th in outcomes. So we spend the most out of 15 nations combined, and we have a failing grade when it comes to
Mhm.
like the health of our society. So I think that we have to start waking up to
Mhm.
know that we have to do better. If we're going to spend that much, we have to create a better outcome.
Mhm.
And, dollars should be more savings than spending. So we should
Yeah.
actually figure out how to save the money and to create
Mhm.
healthier people. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, is through the chiropractic lifestyle and
That's
teaching
true.
people on how to keep their nervous system functioning, to where their organ system's functioning, to where their glandular
Mhm.
system's functioning, to where their endocrine system's functioning. And
Mhm.
then the innate intelligence of the philosophy really ties into the educated intelligence of what the outcome is. And if that's
Mhm.
really what these people are interested in, is creating a healthier activities of daily living, then we have to look
Mhm.
at how does this happen through the chiropractic method.
Totally. Mhm.
So I
I
think,
love that. I love going over goals with everybody just to kind of hear what their goals are, and then I tell them my goals and how we'll work on both. So that
yeah,
we can go back
yeah,
to those ADLs. And I think they want to know that you heard them, that you're just not going to go crack them. So they are fearful of that. And so when you can try to tell them, I'm going to do what I do the best I can, but these are our goals. And then they understand. Yeah. That
and
model.
you have to be an active participant. Like you have to show up.
Hmm.
I always
Hmm.
tell people it's 9/10 of it's showing up. All we ask you to do is show up to these first two visits so we can help you.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it's
Hmm.
up to you guys to take over.
For sure.
I know we didn't talk about everything within our question set here. I know
Hmm.
you did. I know a big part of your practice is moms.
Yes.
Talk about how you built your practice on taking care of moms.
Yes, I had a really good coach in the beginning that was trying to help me come up with a niche because, as a chiropractor, I wasn't sure. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, where do I start? And she was like, pick an area that you are good at. And so I thought about being a mom and pregnancy. And so I started with pregnant women. And I think still on my banner at my street fairs, it says serving women to be their healthiest on there. Oh, but the guys still come in and I still love to adjust my male patients. But it has been pretty awesome to just get the training I did in the Webster technique and to do it time after time after time, find the exact same listings that I was taught that I would find with their sacrum being rotated a certain way and then the muscles of the one side being a certain way. So I'll work all that when I find it. But the coolest thing has been when patients get referred to me because their baby is breech and they're at their last straw trying to figure out what am I going to do. I don't want to have a c-section. I wanted to have this baby vaginally, and or their baby's transverse, and I say, okay, I'm not going to promise anything, but I'm going to do what I do and we'll just see if it changes. But you need to be consistent, like you said, with me and trust me. And I had the very first time I had a baby turn on the table, the mom got up and she was just like, oh, she was just having this, like a vagal experience. Like she thought she was going to pass out. She needed water. And sure enough, I talked to one of the midwives after I asked it, was she able to have, a vaginal birth? She said, yes, the baby was head down. Everything was great. So I couldn't tell from the outside what had happened, but watching her body language told me, I'm like, we made a change, and baby had flipped because of a lot of the ligament work we do. With the pelvic area as well as the abdominal area. We work on the broad ligament, which is on the sides. And then the round ligament is just below the belly where it descends a lot, loosening those and just kind of holding them gently for, little pressure points. And that whatever tension that's happening between the sacrum, the pelvis, and those ligaments, when we're able to release it, baby can have a better optimal position for a delivery. So recently in the last year, we had talked about, different stories, but I've had this happen twice where they came back and they said baby's head down. So I love that we can do that. That's what the Webster technique initially was designed for. But overall, we're just trying to help moms have a healthy, smooth labor. We know delivery is not always as easy as we had, expected it would be, but the fact that they can move their body through all the phases of labor and actually have a vaginal birth is just so important for mom and baby to experience that. Of course, at the very end of the day, I tell people, hey, healthy mom and healthy baby, that's the most important. You just want to make sure that's good. We'll do our best to help you have a vaginal, labor, but you need a team of people that support you, that can motivate you, and a good medical team. If you're going to have it in the hospital, make sure you communicate to them that you want it very healthy birth and very natural. If they decide to do non-medicated, I'm all for that. But if they don't, then I tell them, just make sure you have people that understand what you're trying to do. So it's incredible just to have pregnant women on my table and just to talk to the baby in them and just pour into them. So yeah, I love the Webster technique. I highly recommend that one for all students.
Yeah. And when you think about how all this comes together, that is the miracle. Chiropractic is the miracle. It is the miracle story. It's the miracle for every patient that comes in. It's the miracle for every healthy birth. And it's really the love of the profession. Give, love, and serve. Give out of your own abundance, expecting nothing in return.
For sure.
And I think that philosophical is the base of this profession, and done by hand is an amazing change for people to understand, because they're going to seeing physicians and the physicians aren't touching them. They're working with scribes that aren't even the doctors. So when somebody comes into a chiropractic clinic and they actually get a full exam with neurological tests, orthopedic tests, muscle testing, scans, x-rays, like that's a whole new paradigm that most people have never been involved in.
Yep.
And if they're going to see a specialist, they're paying tens of thousands of dollars for this type of service. And now the chiropractor is doing motion palpation. The chiropractor is doing orthopedic checks on the joints and ligaments and tendons. And now they're given a report and telling them how they can help them, and actually performing an adjustment that should sell for $1 million. But a chiropractor is delivering these things for like $50 to $100. And it's just amazing to see like how conservative the profession is and the results that the patient gets to experience.
For sure.
And if we sent these people seriously to like a neurologist outside of chiropractic, it's a $10,000 exam, and to send people to specialists after specialists when all they need to do is come see the chiropractor.
Right.
That's the miracle. The miracle is the profession.
Absolutely.
We're at the edge of our time today, but is there anything I didn't talk to you about that you wanted to discuss with our audience today?
I guess just encouraging new students to just be persistent when they graduate with their business, and really just pouring into their patients and listening to them. So like you said, patients want to be heard. And, you might have an agenda and you're like, I just want to adjust and do our thing, but really listening to them and where they're coming from. And I ask them, have you been adjusted before? Like before I adjust them and do a cervical adjustment. Yes, I have. Oh, okay, great. Do you like having your neck adjusted? Yes. Okay, let's do this. Or, I want to know if they're comfortable in my hands. I don't want them to be fearful at all. If it's their first adjustment, I'm like, I just tell them how excited I am to be their first. and that all I needed is for them to relax, but just really tuning into them. So I feel like that's been a huge thing I've learned in my practice, that people just tell me and my reviews, and they look at me and they're like, I could tell that you care. So you have to go with an intent of like, yeah, I'm going to give them some life-changing adjustment, but I'm going to do it with their basically permission and in the area they're comfortable with. And really just making sure that they know that you care and that you are trying to make an impact, and following up with them if they, just don't come after that first time, like, what's going on? Are you okay? Checking on you. And I think that that's where patients get lost in in transition of that part of there's no follow up, and people don't feel like it was the person really cared about them and that kind of stuff. So I feel like that's what I've learned through my past experience, and bringing it into chiropractic is just follow up is key, being intentional about what you're saying to the patient, make everything really personal about, where they're at, meet them where they're at. I'm always, like I said, trying to help them achieve their goals, even though I tell them what my goals are for them is just a better life and optimal health and optimal function. And but I still have to help them, to do what they want to do, which is, what if it's their knee or something, help their knee to be more stable, right? So just really staying on target with their goals at the same time. Yeah, but that's it.
Well, I think it's really important. You should take care of people the way you want to be taken care of.
Totally. That's exactly my model. I have one awesome miracle story that I want to share with you if I can. One of the reasons I wanted to become a chiropractor also is because my daughter had asthma, and I did everything I could. I breastfed her. I made her baby food. I chose to be very conservative on the vaccines, and did everything to make her nervous system and her body as pure as possible so she could be healthy. And about 2.5, she started to have asthma symptoms. So I bring her to Dr. John Paul, who was my chiropractor, to get adjusted before I was able to adjust her. And it would mostly help. But sometimes her asthma stuff was a little bit more allergy related, and we learned with animals and things like that. So anyways, through the years, we got her adjusted by me, and I was able to manage it. But one of the coolest things that happened twice, one time she was having an asthma attack, and I was able to get to the house. My dad was babysitting her, watching her for me while my husband and I had a night away. I got a call like at 4 a.m. She wasn't breathing. They had a dog that they had gotten recently, and we weren't prepared with her allergy stuff. And anyways, my dad's like, I'm going to rush her to the hospital. I said, no, do not take her to the hospital. I will be there shortly. I need you to just put her in the shower so she has, hot air and the steam coming through, like cleaning her nose out or whatever. So she was outside wet she looked like a wet dog when I got there, and crying. And my dad's just trying to calm her down. We're getting ready to get in the car. I'm like, no, let me hold her. And so I grabbed her, and she's wheezing heavily. And I stood her up, and I did a standing thoracic adjustment where you kind of lay like this, and the chiropractor comes from behind you, and we lifted up, and she's like, so she finally got her first gasp of air. And then I laid her on the couch. I said, okay, let's do this. And I did a cervical adjustment, and I'm not kidding you, within like 2 minutes. It's gross, but the biggest phlegm thing that was going on that was blocking her airway came out, and over there on the grass outside, we walked back outside because we had better cold air out there. And it was all my dad was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And I was just so happy. That was my miracle story, is like, I became a chiropractor because I wanted to help my kids with my hands to heal and to be healthier. And whenever I could, I wanted less of the inhalers. I did not want maintenance therapy. So I kind of, had to struggle with that. But I really just wanted to help them. And then in that moment, we were fine. We didn't need to go rush to the hospital. She was able to control her asthma attack. We went home and did a little more maintenance to like calm her nervous system from that big episode. But we drove her home together. We weren't rushed to the hospital, which they would have just done albuterol after albuterol after albuterol. I know we did that once, and that's all they can do to try to get her airways to open. And I just hugged her. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad that, the chiropractic can help you. And we were just grateful. So that's happened before with like at a park when she was wheezing, but that's a true miracle story. I may not have been able to heal her asthma. So I tell people I didn't heal her, but I sure have something that can help her in place of all the medication that she's given they're thrown. So I just want to remind people to, lean on to chiropractic. Make sure you ask your friends about whatever it is that, they can help with ear infections. Go try, figure it out. So that's a fun story that I wanted to make sure that I shared with you.
And philosophically speaking, you take this back full circle. The body needs nothing extra in it. It simply needs no interference. Once the interference is cleared, the body self-regulates and
Yep.
self-heals. It's not a machine,
Mhm.
it's an organism. And that's the
Mhm.
chiropractic philosophy 101 that most people never get in their entire life. They never
Yeah.
understand it on that level. So when you remove that vertebral subluxation, you allow the
Mhm.
body to express as it should naturally. And it's going to
Mhm.
then, it's going to get rid of whatever that obstruction is in the lung. And
Yep.
the body's going to respond the way it's supposed to because it's having positive nerve flow going to the area of the lungs. So
Totally.
when you did that thoracic move on her,
Mhm.
you basically gave nerve supply back to her lungs and allowed the
Yep.
body to do what it was supposed to, which is to heal.
For sure.
And the chiropractor doesn't heal anything; the body does. So
That's true.
when you correct that subluxation in the vertebral
Mhm.
column, the body then has the opportunity to do what it's supposed to.
Mhm. Definitely. Yeah, I
Well,
agree.
Dr. Val, it was such a pleasure having you on today. Thank you for sharing that last miracle story about helping your little
Thank
girl.
you. Yeah.
And
Thank you for having me.
yeah, you're episode 705, and
Awesome.
it's been a really great episode, and I appreciate you being on with me.
Thank you so much, James. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, and I close out like I always do. I tell
Mhm.
everybody watching, you're just one story away. Keep hustling. I'll see you guys on the
Mhm.
next episode. Bye for
Thank
now.
you. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.